mute, and this session will be recorded. So I'll start with the roll call. Start with you, Jamie. Jamie Martinez.
I am here, and welcome everybody.
Monica Atridge.
I am here.
Sarah Dorman.
Present.
Keith Becker. Sorry, Keith, I didn't mean to skip over you there.
I'm here.
All right, Jeremy Musgrove. No, Jeremy, okay. Stephanie Birdwell.
Present.
And Rachel, I can never pronounce your name.
But I am present.
Okay, you are present. Thank you, Rachel. Looks like we have a quorum.
Looks like Jeremy just came in too.
Okay, and I will count Jeremy as here. Jamie, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Welcome everybody. I'm so thrilled to see everyone. I hope you're all doing well and dealing with this snow as best we can as we are on the heels of yet another storm, which is projected, according to Phoenix, to bring an additional 1 to 2 feet. So please be careful. It's really good to see all of you. A bit of a reminder for our meetings. If you do wish to speak, by all means, type something in chat and we will monitor the chat and call on you as you appear in the chat. In the meantime, when you are not on camera or when you are not speaking, please keep your camera and your microphone off. Moving down to item number 4 on the agenda, public participation. Lisa, do we have any public participation this month?
I do not see anyone on, and I don't see anything in the chat. So I'm gonna say, I'm still looking here. No.
Okay, perfect, and thank you. Next, for item number 5, this is an informational opportunity for you all to share things that are going on in your prospective areas that you would like the commission to know about. So it's pretty much a round table, informational items from the commission members. So do we have any informational items? Okay.
Rachel has her hand up.
And Rachel, you have the floor.
Hi, sorry, turn on my camera. I want to give a big shout out to Mountain Line because I've got 3 bus stops in the vicinity where I live on Solier, and they have kept their, where you wait, they have kept them immaculate. A lot of times to the point where the businesses, the apartment complexes around them are completely inaccessible, but there's always that little spot at Mountain Line that is absolutely clear. So as a person in a wheelchair, I sincerely appreciate that.
That is absolutely fantastic, Rachel, and thank you for bringing that up. I too am a user of Mountain Line, and they do a phenomenal job of keeping the grounds clear. So thank you for bringing that up, Rachel. Do we have any other additional informational items from commission members?
No, but Sarah put in the chat that there is a new support group starting for parents and caregivers for those who have disabilities. The open house is March 22nd from 5:30 to 7 at the Guidance Center. And by the way, this is Lisa, staff liaison, speaking on behalf of Sarah.
Oh, fantastic, Sarah, and thank you for putting that in chat. That's excellent news to know. And thank you, Lisa, for conveying that information.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, do we have any other informational items? All right, not hearing any. We will go ahead and move down to item number 6 on the agenda, staff participation. And Lisa, you're first on the list.
And I do have some information for you guys today. So let me pull up my little notes here. As you know, commissioners and participants are gilded time with us through a calendar year. So I want to let you all know that Monica Atridge, her term is coming up, ending at the end of this month. And so is our beloved chair, Jamie Martinez. We're going to miss him so much. We do have, let's see, several people that have applied for permission to be on the commission. So we do have some applications, but I just want to remind Keith and Jeremy, if you guys are interested in reapplying, make sure that you do so and get those applications in, hopefully by this Friday. That would be great. And Russell, I have some news for you. Since you've been off the commission for a calendar year, you are eligible to reapply if you would like. And I see Rachel's hand up. Rachel, go ahead.
Jamie, are you going to stay on the commission?
My understanding, Lisa, is that my term does not officially end until March of 2024. And then I can reapply for an additional term of 3 years.
I believe that is correct, but let me double check with Stacy because the information that was sent to me was that it was expiring at the end of this coming March. But let me
Okay.
double check on that, Amy, or Jamie. That was the information that got sent to me 2 weeks ago. So let me double check because I thought it was a little quick, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Please do so, because that was my complete understanding, is that this term wasn't up until March of 2024, and then I could reapply for a final term.
Okay, let me double check on that with Stacy and get back with you as soon as
Okay.
possible.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? And that was the only report that I had today from the staff liaison report. But Jamie, I will double check on that to make sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Russ,
And
I see your hand up. Go ahead.
And Lisa, thanks for acknowledging I've been off the year and that I can reapply. I will reapply. Do I apply just through the website?
Yes.
So I look up the commission website and just put in an application. And then if slots open up, then my application will be considered with the others. Yes?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that, Lisa. It doesn't seem like it's been a year, but thank you.
I know time goes by quick. Jamie, did you have something else you needed to say?
oh, I'm fine.
I saw that your hand was still up there.
Okay, let me attempt to take that down.
Well, that was the only report that I had for you guys today.
Thank you, Lisa, and I'll look forward to you getting back to me. I will also look for my documentation that states those dates. And
Thank you,
then
Jamie.
my understanding is that Estella Hollander, our liaison from Mountain Lift and Mountain Line, will not be here this month. She will have a future update for us in March.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
so next we are moving down to Michelle Eisenberg, student liaison for Hajoni.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm here. I'm co-liaison with Russ Randall, so I will let him take the floor.
I'm trying to take the floor here, Jamie. Am I in there? Yeah, there we go. So from the Northern Arizona Community Practice Transition Team, our last meeting was last Tuesday, a week ago, and we had a wonderful presentation from Jeremy Musgrove, and he presented to us about the SIPSI program, the Support Inclusive Practices in College program. And again, I'm not sure if Jeremy has actually talked to this group about SIPSI, and perhaps he should sometime formally present. But with SIPSI, folks who in the past would have had a very difficult time attending college and university, folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities are able to attend college and university with extra support. And this is facilitated through the Institute for Human Development at NAU. And Sakenya McDonald, who used to be on the commission, she kind of coordinates the program. And the program actually employs a TIPSID grant in order to provide those kind of services for folks at the community college and at the university level. And Jeremy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe presently SIPSI has students in Northern Arizona at Coconino Community College, Northern Arizona University, Mojave Community College, and Northland Pioneer College. Pretty exciting stuff. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've seen quite a number of my own students attend college through the SIPSI program, and I just have found it to be great services. So Jeremy presented to the Community Practice Transition Team last week about that. And then also the Community Practice Team has finalized their new charter for the upcoming year and years ahead. So that was kind of great to see happen. And then lastly, at last week's meeting and the meeting before that, but briefly, we discussed the problem with snow removal. And it's also a problem for the folks who represent all those different distinct groups at the Community Practice Team as well. So I'm glad to see that that's something this commission is going to discuss today. Thanks, everybody.
And Lisa, I saw that you had your hand up.
Yes, real quick. Russ, can you give me the acronym of that again? You said SIPSI, and it was standing for what again?
And Jeremy's actually putting something in the chat too.
Oh, thank you.
It is to support inclusive practices in college.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
You bet. And then Michelle has her hand up. So Michelle, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to add too that we do have, Hujoni also has a client that's going through the SIPSI program that is doing very well currently. So I just wanted to add that, and it's kind of a unique program, and it's really, I think it's really helping a lot of people that wouldn't otherwise have access to college courses or be supported in that way. And I do believe, I'm kind of putting Russ on the spot, but I do believe we're going to be having a presentation from Divergent at our March meeting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you for this great information. Lisa, I saw that your hand went up again. Is that correct?
No, I was just trying to take it down.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So, and Jeremy, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you everyone for those kind words. And yes, that all the descriptions that were given were great. And I did just want to briefly mention that we are hiring some part-time educational coaches similar to like what the job coaches do with Quality Connections and some of those other programs. So if you know anybody or you yourself might be interested, please let me know and I'd be happy to pass along more information.
That's really great news. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay, moving down to item number 7 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes. And we're going in the Wayback Machine. This is from December 20th, 2022. So if you need some time to review those minutes, please do. And then if we could have a motion to approve.
Not sure how to do this, but I'll pass a motion.
Oh, Lisa, that is duly noted, Rachel, and thank you. Lisa, I did have a small correction.
Okay,
On the transportation meeting, those dates somehow got inverted. So it actually was on the 17th of February, not the 20th.
okay, got you. So we do need to correct that, okay? We'll get that
Yes.
corrected.
So with that small correction, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll pass a motion.
Thank you, Rachel. Do we have a second?
Will second the motion.
Thank you. And was that Monica?
Yes, it was.
Okay. All of those in favor of approval of the minutes from December 20th, 2022, with that small amendment, signify by saying yay.
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 All of
Yay.
those,
Yay.
all of those in opposition, signify by saying nay. Hearing no opposition, the motion is carried for approval of the minutes from December 20th, 2022. Thank you, everyone. And Jeremy, I do see that you have your hand up as well.
Oh, that's my apologies. Just never put it down.
No problem. Okay. So the date of our next meeting will be March 28th, 2023. It's hard for me to believe that we've already gone through 2 months of 2023. So March 28th, 2023. If you could just quickly check your calendars and verify that you will be here.
I'm good.
Okay, perfect.
This is Keith. I'm good.
Thank you.
Rachel, and I'm good.
And I'm also good, and hopefully my information was correct on that date. So I will be here next month.
And Stephanie Birdwell said she can make it.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're moving down to our action items. And Rachel, you have the floor.
Hi, everybody. As it says in the agenda, I would like to talk about enforcement of ADA laws within the city. Personally, since December, 4 different times I have either seen a police officer just walk away and not try to enforce any ADA. 2 weeks ago, I personally was told basically a woman had parked in the cutaway and I couldn't get into the pharmacy. And I was told by the police officer that responded that he didn't feel like giving her a ticket and I made her cry. And so he wasn't giving her a ticket. So I would like to see, and I don't know if this is possible, but I would like to see if there could possibly be some ADA training and maybe if need be a refresher course on what they need to do, and possibly even for us as a commission, having somebody talk to us about ADA and what we can expect, especially during the snow, since that's the monstrosity that's taking over Flagstaff right now. But yeah, the police department seems to be a bit of a problem right now. And that's all I have.
And Keith, you have your hand raised. You have the floor.
Yes, we've had a lot of problems with the police officers. I've reported places. One place I reported probably close to 40 times, and they still are blocking sidewalks all the time. And yes, with the snow, that's a whole nother ball game. We need to try to get that taken care of as well. But as far as the police do need to know what the ADA laws are, especially with blocking sidewalks, because we do have that Senate bill or House bill. Um, and you know, our police officers are the best ones to enforce that because they're driving around all the time. They're going up and down all these streets, and they just need to hopefully be educated and hopefully be willing to start looking for these things, for blocked sidewalks, people parked on them, things like that. Um, I've seen, I've mentioned it before, somebody that almost got hit. And I've seen people out in the streets trying to get around these things. My own wife has to go in the street to get around this stuff. And, you know, it's not right. I mean, we need to get the public to know you can't block a sidewalk. You can't park on it. You can't stop people from going from one side of the sidewalk across your driveway over to the other side of the sidewalk without having to get out in the street or even go on the little bit of a ramp, sidewalk or the driveway ramp, because that makes for somebody in a wheelchair, it can make it pretty tippy, or even the little scooters. And for my wife who uses a cane, that can fool her thinking that she's got a crosswalk coming up right there instead of something else. And if she has to walk down into it also because she's elderly, she tips over relatively easily or stumbles a little bit or, sidesteps, whatever the case may be. And, our police department are the ones that, first of all, are going to have to deal with handing out citations on this because that is a police department kind of thing. But, the police probably think, oh, well, why should I take all the time? I need to go catch bad guys and things like that. And, I have a lot of respect for our police department that do go out chasing the bad guys because that's what we need. But we also need them to start looking at the safety of the citizens. And so that's where I see trying to get our police department in, maybe get somebody to give them, maybe they take some classes that are online, that would be a requirement to learn about and then to come along with it. They're happy to pull you over if you're speeding. They're happy to pull you over if you're drinking. Why should they not be happy to issue a citation if you're parked across a sidewalk? That's my 2 cents.
I agree, Keith. And Sarah in chat says, what is the House bill? And then Russ, you have the floor, I believe, before Rachel.
Thank you, Jamie. And I do not know what the House bill is. Keith, do you want to address?
Yes, I'm gonna look it up. I've got it in my phone, but I believe it is House Bill 2395, or it's 9523. But I've got it in my phone here, and I'll I'll look it up real quick and let y'all know.
Okay, thanks, Keith. And quite honestly, Jamie and other commissioners, I don't know exactly what the laws are with regards to accessible parking. I know, like at Coconino High School, before I retired, my room was right next to an entrance where there's a cutout. And repeatedly, students and sometimes district folks would park in the cutout. And I actually contacted Flagstaff PD to come over. And actually, 2 or 3 times, a police officer told me that it was not Flagstaff PD that had to enforce that. It would be the school district would have to enforce that. So I'm not sure that I know what the law is with regards to when police officers can actually issue citations and when they cannot. I would assume that like on the Northern Arizona University campus, and maybe Stephanie or Jeremy would know more, but I would assume on the NAU campus, that would have to be NAU PD. But I'm just not sure what the law is regarding that. I see it as a major problem in the city. I see people parking in cutouts and parking in accessible parking all the time. And of course, Russ Randall being who he is, you know, our little situation with our cutout meant that when I saw one out there, I would leave a big note on the windshield saying, do not park here. I have a student who needs to access school through this cutout. And literally, if somebody came out when I saw them, I would go over there and talk to them about why they should not park in the cutout. But again, I'm not sure all the way across the city what the law is with regards to when Flagstaff PD can actually issue a citation. And I'm not sure if anybody else in the meeting today can clarify that for me.
I will do some investigating and get back with you folks. Okay, and Rachel, you have the floor again.
Kind of what Russ said. I'm wondering if maybe we could invite somebody from the police department to our next meeting and put this as an agenda item so that we can talk to them. Also, I will also do some follow-up. I have been reading ADA law, which supersedes any state laws or anything. And ADA law specifically says that you cannot park, even if you're disabled, you cannot park in a cutaway. And so I will do some more investigating to find out about some of this stuff, and I'll have a better presentation next month.
Rachel, let's team up on that.
I think we'll have to do lunch, Jamie.
That'd be great. Okay, and Keith, you have the floor.
Yes, you are not allowed to park in the crosshatches. It is an ADA thing, even if it's on the private property of a store or anything like that. And they usually have the little signs that say, hey, you can be fined so much for parking in the parking spot and you're not handicapped or don't have the flag or the plate. But it is also, you're not allowed to park in the crosshatch. And I see people with motorcycles in crosshatches all the time. And so you are definitely correct on that.
Rachel, did you still have your hand up?
I would like to say something else as to what Keith just said. I just forgot what I was going to say. I'm 52, okay. Don't blame me. I will raise my hand and think about it.
Hopefully it'll come back. That happens to me too. Okay, so Keith said in the chat that it is House Bill 2395. Thank you for that information, Keith. And would somebody be willing to read on my behalf what Stephanie placed in chat?
Yes, I can. Stephanie, and this is Lisa, by the way. Stephanie said, yes, NAU PD for NAU campus parking. Also, they do parking enforcement. So NAU has their own police department that is supposed to enforce the campus parking. But just to let you all know, this is kind of my wheelhouse. One of the things I do at my position at the city is compliance policy and procedures. You guys are right in understanding the law. The ADA federal law does state specifically what you guys said, that, you know, parking has to be accessible for ADA compliance rules. But where the hiccup comes sometimes is when state and local laws need to enforce it. And so that's the concern there, is that yes, federally we have this law, but it doesn't seem to be being enforced as much locally and statewide. And these are some things we can definitely ask the police department, and I would be more than willing to go back and send out an email and request that they come to our CIL, CIAL, there we go, I can get there, meeting, and I can put that on the agenda for next month and see if we can have another conversation with them about how they go about enforcing this specific rule. And Keith, yes, training can always be accessible and have them get that training. So I just want to kind of give my 2 cents on that.
I would also like to offer my services and be involved in that training. And I'm really excited about the prospect of having the police department here for our March meeting. So thank you, Lisa, for reaching out.
Will do. And if I can't get them for March, I'll try and get them as soon as I can.
Fantastic. Okay.
Jamie,
Rachel, I did see that you have your hand up. Did you remember?
I did. So I called a corporal after the police officer left, and it was explained to me that that because the markings on the pavement were not clear, even though there was specifically 2 ARS on the plaques on the wall, that the police wouldn't enforce it because somebody just driving in couldn't see it on the pavement and it wasn't enforceable. And I asked him, I said, you know, it's obvious when you are a 2-legged person or not in a wheelchair and you step out of a car and you step up on a sidewalk, if you're going up on the sidewalk without having to take a step, you're parked illegally. And he said that basically it wouldn't be enforced unless they could see the pavement. And I asked him, I said, we have snow 7 or 8 months of the year. So does that mean that you don't enforce ADA law those 7 or 8 months? And he said that that was a gray area. And I think that that's why I personally would like some clarification, because ADA law does not say that at all. And I've got all of the statutes pulled up. I've got everything highlighted. And so I would like to be part of any training as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing somebody come from the police department.
And I was just going to say, it was my full understanding that in order for parking to be enforced, yes, it has to be clearly signified on the pavement, but it also has to be a sign as well. So those two have to be in conjunction with one another to actually help cover those times when the ground may be covered with snow, so you can still see that it is an accessible parking space.
So I have been in contact with the Office for ADA Enforcement with the Department of Justice. I'm waiting to hear back from them about clarification about the law, because nothing in federal ADA law states that the ground has to be, that you have to be able to see the pavement. It may be a city thing, but it's definitely not an ADA law unless
Right.
somebody may know differently. But from everything that I've been looking at ADA law, the pavement markings are not significant enough to override the fact that you have to have plaques on the wall and you have to have the ARS statute on them, or
Right.
it's not technically a legal spot.
Agreed. So I definitely want your involvement with the training, Rachel. I'm super excited about where this is going and look forward to speaking with the police department next month or in April. So
Definitely. Thanks, guys.
thank you. And Rush, you have your hand up.
And Jamie, I think Lisa is actually confirming that what you stated was correct with regards to the marking and the sign. But I think
Yes.
that then the message is that if the marking is not clear and if the sign is not present, then that's kind of a responsibility of the city to make sure that the marking is clear and that the sign is present.
Right.
And I think perhaps that's something that could also be addressed by the commission.
I'm in full agreement with that too, Russ. And Lisa, would you be so kind as to help me read what Keith said as well?
Yes, Keith said he would love to be involved with the training if it doesn't create a quorum. So everybody is
True.
wanting to sit in on that, and we can definitely, take a look at that and move forward. As I said, I will reach out to PD to see if we can get them on the agenda for next month and have someone come in and talk with us.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for this great discussion, folks. Before we move forward, do we have any other discussions surrounding this topic? Okay, not seeing anything. So we will move down to item number 10 on the agenda, reports and discussion items. And we have Jeremy DeGator up front and center to talk about the progress of the library entrance and the accessibility that we've been working on. So you have the floor, Jeremy. It's good to have you here.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. My name is Jeremy DeGator. I'm a project manager in the Capital Improvements section here at the City of Flagstaff. I've been here multiple times before, but I'm happy to be back in front of this commission to give you an update on the library ADA entrance project. So for those of you that haven't been on the commission long or that haven't been here for one of my previous updates, this is the ADA upgrade to the main library entrance. This library is located on Aspen Avenue near City Hall across from Wheeler Park. If you'll recall, what we're doing is the old entrance, because it no longer exists, was not in ADA compliance. And so we worked diligently with our designer, we worked with this commission and other stakeholders to really adopt a universal or inclusive design ideal as we've focused on this project design. What we have here is off of Aspen Avenue and off of the parking lot along the Rio de Flag. There will be 2 gently sloping sidewalks. So these are all at 5% or less, so they do not technically qualify as ramps. And that is part of the inclusive design. These will both combine in the middle and take you up to the library entrance. There's one small set of stairs that's located to the north along the edge of the building. And then finally, there's a significant civic space here. We're calling it the plaza, kind of on upper level that will kind of overlook the entire area. There will be landscaping. There's public art pieces that are actually being incorporated that are both mounted on the ground and also on some of the railings as you approach the library. This is a rendering of what it's anticipated to look upon completion. I just wanted to give another update on, you'll recall that this was actually awarded to Shoals Contracting back on July 5th with the notice to proceed in early August. Right off the bat, this project faced some challenges. We found out that we needed to bring some of the existing infrastructure on Sitgreaves and Aspen up to ADA standards. And so a major shout out goes out to Public Works, Adam Miele, his contractor, C&E, and Vic Davidson Concrete, who were able to rebuild demolish and rebuild portions of sidewalk and the ramps in less than 3 weeks and get Shoals Contracting, the contractor for this project, back to work. Since they began roughly around Labor Day, we've had a few challenges related to supply chain, staffing, lots of the same stuff that many projects are experiencing these days. And then finally, we made some progress. We finally got into placing concrete sometime in October. This picture that you're seeing here on the screen was actually taken in December, right around Christmas. And so we had made progress on that upper plaza. Again, there's a lot of details here. We've got decorative finishes to the concrete, colors to the concrete, and so on. And you can see the gently sloping walkway that's in place here. There's actually a center strip here. This is exposed aggregate, so it'll give a little bit of a tactile feedback. So this was what it looked like around Christmas, just a few short months ago. This is what it's looked like most of the time since. So as you're all aware, as we were just talking about with some of the challenges with snow removal, ADA parking, we've gotten hammered with snow. So the project is officially in a winter shutdown at this moment. The contractor does plan to continue work through the winter shutdown as weather allows. We anticipate that they will officially restart construction, at least as it relates to contract time, likely by early April. And we're hoping to kind of wrap this up and hold some form of grand opening scenario somewhere around May or so, beginning or mid-May, that will hold our grand opening ceremony. So again, this project has taken a bit longer than we had originally hoped. Currently, people are still utilizing the alternate entry, which is coming off of Sitgreaves. That seems to be working. Certainly, we appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this. We understand we're having some impacts to the library and just this area in general, so we appreciate everyone understanding that. And we will endeavor to get this thing done well and get this thing done this spring. And we look forward to welcoming you all. So we will be sending out invites, certainly involve this commission when we are ready to open this up. And with that, I will turn this open to any questions or discussion that anyone may have. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this project and actually see it come to fruition. Boy, didn't expect that we would have the winter that we've been having. So happy to hear, though, that the work will continue as it is able to continue, and hopefully with a startup again in April. Looking forward to the ribbon cutting in May. So thank you so much for being here. And I do see that Rachel has her hand up.
Hi, Jeremy. I'm a new commission member, and I appreciate seeing the conceptual drawing and seeing the pictures you have. That's really, really awesome, because I personally have not been able to get into that library for a number of years. But my question is, what are you doing where the old ramp used to be? What are you going to do with that area?
Where the old ramp, well, that's all, essentially it's all getting reworked. So that old ramp will completely go away. So this will be, with that universal design, we're really trying to get everyone to use the same facilities. So we've tried to eliminate as many stairs as possible. As you see, we have one small set of stairs that I anticipate a fair number of people will use coming directly from the parking lot, or for anyone coming from different directions, coming from Aspen Avenue and so on. And we hope even from the parking lot, people will continue to use those gently sloping sidewalks for their experience, and hoping to really create some outdoor civic space. The library is excited for what they may be able to do for programming aspects and so on.
That's great. And then what will happen with the 2 handicap spots that were there?
So there will actually be 3 handicap spots in the new configuration, and it wasn't shown in the plan that I showed you, but directly across from where the the walkway and the stairs come down to the parking lot, that's where the new ADA spaces will be located. So they'll actually be directly adjacent. You'll just cross the drive aisle and then you'll be going up the walkways into the library.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for considering us.
Of course, it's been a pleasure working with this commission.
Thank you, Rachel. Next in line is Russ.
And as Jamie knows, and Monica too, and some of us have been involved with this project with Jeremy for a while. So Jeremy, thank you for listening. When you came to the commission and you asked for input with regards to what we thought should happen, you listened. And I think we are going to have an accessible entrance as well as an inclusive entrance, where folks can actually enter the library with their friends, as it should be. So Jeremy, thank you for listening. Something for the commission to consider down the road is it would be really nice if the same kind of thing could happen for our very own city hall. But Jeremy, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Russ.
Monica, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just, ditto to what Russ said. We really appreciate you listening. So thank you so much.
And Jeremy, once again, this project really typifies what this commission portrays and stands for, Commission on Inclusion and Adaptive Living. So from the bottom of my heart, as a wheelchair user myself, thank you very much.
My pleasure. We look forward to welcome you all in May.
Yes, I look forward to it.
Thank you all.
Okay, and moving down to item number B, under reports and discussion items, we have Martin Ince with us today, Transportation Planner Senior. Martin, take it away.
Thank you, Chair Martinez. So this item is kind of an outgrowth or a follow-up to some of the discussions that the commission has been having over the last couple of months, really probably over the last half a year or so. And I got a handful of slides, but we'll try to move through them pretty quickly. This is me. My name is Martin Ince. I'm the multimodal transportation planner for the city. And this is kind of an outline of what I have on slides. And really, it's kind of a way of helping to organize some of the conversations that the commission has had before. It really takes a lot of the work that Keith had done previously with kind of outlining what the issues are and what we want to talk about, and putting it into translating that into this outline. And then finally, it kind of talks about what how we might move forward with it. So really, this outline is just a way of organizing the information that you've already been working through, and kind of making it into a process that we can have a product at the end of it, and then move forward with actually some of the recommendations. So when I look at this outline, you can break it into a couple different sections. First is just some introductory stuff where we set the stage and talk about what we intend to do and what this is all about. Number two, there are the types and natures of problems, and I think we've had some pretty good discussions about that. I think that really is an important part because it tells us exactly what the nature of these problems are and who and how it affects us. And that's kind of important because if our intent here is to solve problems or make things better, we really need to start with a pretty accurate definition of what those problems are, or they become more difficult to solve. 3 and 4, I think we've talked about a little bit and had some help with that, but it's what we have existing at the city. What are our policies and codes around some of these issues, and how does the city currently do snow removal and enforcement? What information do we provide? Number 5 is to kind of look beyond Flagstaff. I'm not sure if we're all aware of this, but there are actually cities in the U.S. that also get snow. Apparently not nearly as much as Flagstaff yet this winter, but I think there are opportunities that we can look at in other places. And then finally, the last one is coming up with some specific recommendations for how do we move forward. So that's kind of the outline. I've got a bunch of slides. Part of the slides are just trying to compile the information that we've already talked about, or that Keith has already compiled a great deal of information that I've done my best to incorporate. And then some of it is kind of laying the stage, kind of creating an outlines that helps guide us in terms of what we want to talk about next and how we want to keep this kind of moving forward, and making this into really, hopefully, a productive conversation. At the end of it, we don't have a piece of paper or a slideshow, that we actually have things that are being done. So I'll pause. I think I tend to talk without enough pauses to give people an opportunity to comment in the meantime, in between. But does anybody have any questions or comments at this point? All right, hearing none, I'll plow forward, but we still have opportunities. So just a little bit about the scope. I drew it kind of broadly. So facilities would be any kind of ped bike or accessible facilities, from sidewalks to street crossings to foot trails. The challenges that we've talked about before, I've divided into 4 categories. One is blockages. So when sidewalks and other things are blocked by parked cars and landscaping and trash bins. 2 is winter conditions, snow and cinders. 3 is maintenance, and what these things look like over time. And then the last one is how we treat things when we have construction closures and need to provide detours. I'll admit right off the bat that scope is pretty ambitious. There's a lot of things to talk about. I think they're all really worthwhile things. But we can probably break it into more manageable pieces, and it feels like what we're tackling, at least in the initial phase, has more to do with blockages and winter conditions. So if the group thinks that is productive, we can move forward kind of with those 2 things. And then as we make progress in that, we can kind of think about branching out into tackling some of the other issues. And I'm happy to, for a variety of reasons, I'm happy to provide as much support as I can give you, as our other staff members here. It may require a little bit of patience. Overall, there's a lot of things happening at the city. We all have a lot on our plate. So we'll do our best to keep it moving and have opportunity for productive dialogue and conversation every time you meet. But just as we go through, just keep in mind that we may not always be able to find all the information in a timely way. I know from the conversation we had just a bit ago that this commission is pretty hands-on, and I know there was offers to help with some of the information. I think that would be really welcome here too. If you could, as we go through and we start to identify, wouldn't it be nice to know, something about how this city does it or whatever? If anybody would be willing to help with that, that would be marvelous, and I think help move things along. And I'm going to pause. It looks like Rachel has her hand up.
Yes,
Martin,
Rachel, go for it.
Martin, I just wanted to give you really, really a heartfelt thank you. Every city-owned sidewalk that I have been on since Snowmageddon hit has been clear. It's been wide enough for a wheelchair to get through. I think the issue is that we're getting into some apartment complexes and businesses.
Yeah.
But I went to Chick-fil-A the other day and I said, hey, I'm in a wheelchair. I can't access your business when I get past a city sidewalk because you guys aren't shoveling. They had somebody out there before I could even finish eating. But I wanted to just give you and your people a really big thank you, because right now this is really a thankless job.
Yeah, I know. I'll pass that along. I know that this has been a lot this winter, and I know a lot of people that work on clearing snow are feeling beleaguered at this point. And thankfully, there's more on the way tonight and tomorrow, so we're not done with it yet.
Well, let me know. I think, do you have my email? I think I may have given it to you before. I am more than willing to do anything you need me to do.
Okay.
I'm not back to working yet because I'm an amputee and haven't learned to walk yet. And so I'm pretty much sitting at home all day and looking for things to do.
Okay. Outstanding. So I'll kind of go through this outline, and I think as we start to, I think we'll see where we're starting to collect information and where we have gaps or where additional information would be needed. And as those things come up, if people are willing to help fill in some of the gaps in knowledge, that I'm willing to be responsible for kind of compiling it. And in fact, we really haven't gotten into the slideshow, but there's a whole lot of information in here. Some things that we've already talked about. So at some point, I'll work with Alan and Lisa and get that out to you so you have the information that we've compiled and already talked about, and we can start to talk about that at future meetings and kind of use that as a basis of conversation.
Well, I'm here when you need me. You just let me know.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. So I'll take a minute, and again, we'll provide this, and I think this is kind of, it's important to make sure that we're starting off and heading in the right direction, and that we have kind of defined what we want to do with this accurately. And so to do that, I think you all need to have a chance to read these things and think about them, and then to have more conversation about it at a future meeting. But what I think, based on what we've talked about before, and based on what I've heard from you, that our intent is that we want to understand this problem clearly, so we can communicate it clearly. And I think that's important, is communicating the consequence, because I don't know, Rachel, you gave the example of when you mentioned to the business owner that when they don't clear their sidewalk, you have a hard time getting into their business, and then all of a sudden they had motivation to clear the sidewalk. But if they understood that ahead of time, does that make people more willing to provide that service without having to be asked? Or to meet, our codes and ordinances without having to be asked. So that's why I think it's important that we understand these problems and communicate what this means to all of us when sidewalks and curb cutouts and those things and accessible parking spaces don't work like they're intended. The third bullet is to engage a wide range of stakeholders. And I've got a slide, I think, right after this one that talks about who generally stakeholders are. The fourth and fifth ones are related to just collecting the information about where the city is already, just kind of understanding what our codes are, what our practices are, so we understand what that side of it is and can make meaningful recommendations for moving forward. What are we up to? The fifth one is explore options and best practices. And I think there's a lot of information out there that we can do research on about how other communities have approached this, who's been successful, et cetera. And then the last two, I think it'll be productive to develop a set of recommendations, strategies, and actions that the city can do. But don't just leave that on paper, like actually think about how these things can be implemented. So kind of wrapping this project up with a written document, for example, would not be the end of it, but really just the start of what we can actually do. And I would say also that we don't really need to wait to the end of this process to start implementing things. Like, for example, you had a good conversation about enforcement of accessible parking spaces, and that there's no reason to wait to take action or to move forward on some of those things. And I can see we're running short on time. I don't want to make anybody go over. So yeah, here's kind of what we summarized. I'm sorry I'm going through this so quickly. We have a lot of policy support for what we're working on already, and I think that's important because it tells us that this is already part of the city's values and goals and policies. We're just trying to find a way to make it more effective or to help it move forward. And then Keith, I stole a lot of this from Keith, but he did a lot of work collecting where we have existing codes and what information is out there. And I think it was at a previous meeting that we talked about the fact that there may be a lot of information out there, but it's really not organized in a very, it's not very easy to find, and it's not all in one place. So, here's 2 slides just of web links, but does it all make sense and does it all work together? And do people have a good opportunity to actually find it? And then this is my last slide, but we make recommendations and strategies. I think it could be in a couple of different under a couple different topics, from enforcement to how we share information, to how we do operations, what codes and standards we have in place, all the way down to how we design facilities to make it easier to maintain and keep clear of snow in the future. So I'm going to end there, but any preliminary feedback you have, and again, this is just one step along the way. We'll keep working on this. Hopefully, we can have this as almost a standing agenda item, and I'll do my best in between to kind of fill in some of the blanks and get information out to you so we can have a meaningful dialogue when we do have a meeting.
Martin, I just want to thank you for all the work that you do in support of this commission. It really, truly means a lot. So it's my pleasure to work alongside you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Chair. Thank you.
And also, I'd like to extend my services as well. If you need help with anything, just reach out.
I appreciate that.
Let's see, Russ has his hand up.
And just a quick thank you to Keith too for tracking down some of those ordinances and policies. And then Chair, are we going to get a copy of this from Martin?
Yes, can we get a copy of this, please?
Absolutely.
And then I would ask Lisa as liaison if I could also get a copy, because then I'll be able to share that with the community practice team.
Okay, yes, we can definitely go ahead and get that as soon as Martin sends it over to us. I'll get a copy over to you.
All right, I'll make it into a PDF and get it to you as soon as we close.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Great presentation, by the way.
Yes,
thank you
very much. And Keith, thank you so much for the great work that you've done with this.
Yeah, well, I've my heart is in this one.
Definitely. It's much appreciated. Okay, and Russ, your hand is still up. Did you have additional information?
Nope, sorry.
That's okay. I just didn't want to miss you if you did. All right. So item number 11, agenda for next meeting. If you have any additional agenda items, please pass them along to Alan, Lisa, or myself, and we will make sure that it gets on the agenda. And thank you very much, folks. And with that, that brings us to our adjournment for the month. As I said earlier, please stay safe and warm, and we will see you on March 28th for our hopefully more spring-like weather for our March meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
this is Monica, and if this is truly my last meeting, I just wanted to thank everybody on the commission. I've really met some good people over the last, I think it's been 6 years then. And wish you all Godspeed in your future endeavors. And I especially want to thank Jamie for his exceptional leadership.
thank you so much, Monica, for being a great team player and commission member. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I hope that I can continue to work with you in the future.
Russ says thank you also, Monica. It's been great working with you.
And with that, folks, we are officially adjourned. Thank you for everything, as always.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, Lisa, before you go, may I speak to you? She.
I think she may be gone, Jamie.
I think you're right, my friend. I'll catch up with her later.
Jamie, good meeting. Lot of things going on. That's good.
Yes, I'm in agreement. These meetings are really great, and I'm so proud of where we were, but where we've come. We've come leaps and bounds.
I think so too. And Monica, you're still here, right? Not sure. Oh, Monica left. You know, the commission is different than it used to be. It just is really different.
Definitely so. We have our hands in so many different areas, and I'm thrilled about each of them.
I think so too. And
and I don't think that they're right about my my term.
I don't think so, Jamie. We talked about this when I had to leave, and then we talked about it when Caitlin had to leave.
Yeah, I don't think they're paying attention to it. So hopefully I still have the email that proves, well, first of all, if you remember way back, I started serving Mike's unfinished term when he left. So I finished Mike's unfinished term, and then I applied and got this term. So I should have another term after this one.
That would be correct, because I completed somebody's unfinished term as well, way back, and that did not count as one of my 3-year terms.
So yeah, and I didn't think that my first term was over until 2024 of March.
Right.
So I'm going to be on the hunt for that paperwork.
Yeah. Well, the city should have that paperwork, but
they should, but given what happened to Caitlin.
I know. And quite honestly, I have not been off it for a year.
I didn't think so. Although I would be thrilled to have you back on.
Yeah, and I'll do an application, but I don't think I've been off it for a year. I mean, this is, and maybe, I mean, like if we go to the end of March, maybe.
Yeah.
Thinking about the same time I retired, which was the end of May. But you know, I don't know. I was glad to see we had a quorum today.
Me too. I feel better when we have a quorum.
It's disturbing to me when we don't have a quorum. I mean, you know, it's like one meeting a month.
Exactly.
You know, it's like important work.
Very important work, and it's not really that much of a time commitment.
No, it isn't. And I'm glad you let Martin know. We do appreciate it. Martin's been involved with us on a lot of stuff.
Oh, he has, definitely. And I want to continue my involvement. You know, I have a mind like a steel trap, so I'm pretty sure that my term is not up. But I will check that. Even if for some reason they say it is, I'm still going to be involved.
Well, and you know, Jamie, we also had a accessible parking liaison.
Yes.
What was her name? Sherry Peralta, right?
Sherry Peralta.
And now we have an accessible parking liaison.
I could definitely come on and do that.
Well, you could, right?
Yeah.
We'd have to peruse the minutes, and I don't know exactly how we made that all happen with the liaison thing. I think that kind of happened because we wanted to have more people on the commission, including people who live in the city of Flagstaff.
That's,
Um,
that's exactly it, because we wanted representation from the outlying areas.
that's right.
Yeah.
So it was a workaround, but it's a good workaround. There should be 9 people on the commission, not 7. That's the city, I think, made a mistake when they reduced the numbers on all the commissions.
I agree.
We live in a representative democracy, so the more representation, the better, right? But this commission has done good work, Jamie. And a lot of that is you. So pat on the back to you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm proud to have served right alongside you and learned from each and every one of you.
And boy, I tell you what, all we used to do was the dang banquet. So
now there's motivation for me to stay on this commission. Before, when we did the banquet, I'm not saying that the banquet wasn't nice, but there's so much more to life than just a banquet.
well, and Jamie, we could still, because we did it after the banquet too, but before the pandemic, because remember, we met at City Hall and we did a little kind of mini award ceremony.
Right, we did. I think we did 2 of them.
I think we did 2 as well, because I know Cora was at one of them and she wasn't at the other, and I got mad at her because she wasn't at one.
Right.
So we did 2, but then those went away during the pandemic. So maybe we should maybe you all on the commission should look at doing that again.
Definitely.
I always liked the idea of the awards. I think that was the banquet is what I kind of had an issue with, and maybe and remember we talked about it. Maybe some of the awards were more appropriate than others.
Right.
An advocate award is good, but like a disabled person of the year award is probably not.
No, because I think it's focusing more on the term than it is the person.
I think that's exactly right. It's
Right.
putting the disability first, right?
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially now, since we've changed our name and we're the Commission on Inclusion and Adaptive Living.
Yep. But I tell you what, Jamie, I was serious. Down the road, the commission should be looking at that damn entrance to the city hall.
Oh, I completely agree, because why should somebody like me have to go around back where the fire engines are to get in and out of the building?
It's ridiculous. I actually have been posting this stuff on Facebook. What came up? Oh, there was a guy who is on a city council. God, I think he's in Michigan, but I don't remember. But this guy is actually on city council. He uses a wheelchair and he's running for re-election. And they held a debate at a place that was not accessible for him. And he could actually not get up on the stage to debate. And he's on their stinking city council.
Where was this at?
I don't remember. I could look it up because I
Wow.
posted on Facebook. I read it somewhere, probably in the Times or something. But and literally, like, in order for him to get like some of the funding that they were getting, the different candidates, he had to be involved in this debate, and he could not get up on the stage. And then there's a video of him trying to get himself up on the stage. It's like, what the hell?
Oh
This is
my gosh.
30 years after the ADA was passed. It's like, but then I remember, Jamie, that it's difficult for you to get up to the up on top for the city council chambers.
Oh, it totally is. And if I were on city council, or who knows if I ever became mayor of our beloved city, how would I get up there without asking for help?
How ridiculous is that? That is just ridiculous. It's just, but change comes, and we have been part of some of that change, Jamie.
It
And I think
definitely has.
city council accessibility might be kind of another project to look at down the road.
Something else for me to spearhead.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
All
well,
right.
give my love to the family.
And you to your folks, okay?
I sure will, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Take care, Jamie.
You too, Russ.
Bye.
Bye.